I've always wondered to myself, is there something that helps the entrepreneurs that succeed that they have, which other entrepreneurs don't? Is it something they know? Is it how they run their businesses? Is it the people they hire? Is it where they went to school? Is it their socialization, their background, their education, their mental spaces? What is it that makes the entrepreneur succeed? Welcome to my masterclasses, where I share with you everything you need to know about how to become a high-growth, high-scale entrepreneur. Warning, this is the High Performance Zone. Yes, ma'am, quickly. Speak up.
I run a business that facilitates dating tournaments. So I work with companies that want to invest in community development. So I have two questions. I have a friend and we run the business together. So I wanted to ask, how do you know how much your business is worth? Especially when you're young and you're working with big companies, how do you know how much your business is worth?
Yeah.
And secondly, I want to ask, in the face of adversity, how do you gain discipline of your money? Like, for example, now that I think the nicest thing about being an entrepreneur, I'm quite nervous. I think the nicest thing about being an entrepreneur is that you get money easily in your account. So I come from a calculator, right? So when I go home, there's that I get that my mother would say, we've run out of sugar or something like that. So I want to know, how do you gain control of your finances, and especially when you're still young and you have money into your account? So how do you not say, oh, okay, I have like 50,000 rand in my account, and how do I not buy a boat from Converse or something like that?
Yeah. Your question is the easiest to answer. It's the way you're asking the question that's incorrect. It's not your account, it's the business's account. So, there's a reason. That's not a clapback, that's a fact. There's a reason when you create a company, you go to the CIPC and you register it. It's because by law, a company is a juristic entity. Like you, it has a life. It's a human being. It exists. And in effect, what you're doing is you're drawing its blood supply to keep you alive. You're committing murder. You just won't go to jail for it. But you might end up at a sequestration or liquidation court, right? So your question is, but it's very important, which is the business is there, the money is there. How do I make sure I don't kill it? The answer is actually not that complex. You've got to have a way of separating you from the business. Here's a comment earlier. So I have a person who does the finances in the business. Every month I get a list of people to pay salaries. One of them is my name. And I pay me a salary. It's hard, eh? You're like, but there's... You know what I mean? But you've got to do it. Otherwise, if you don't introduce that discipline, you'll always be employed. You'll never be an entrepreneur. Okay. The second question was around, how do I create value in my business? How do I know how to price my business? Do you know what is the best price for your business? It's expensive plus one. When the customer says, ooh, it's expensive. Yeah, take that at one. That's the price. Remember, expensive is nothing more than the layperson's way of saying I can't afford it. Okay, so you're not always expensive. You're just not targeting the right people. Yeah? So what I'm saying to you is, how do you know where to value your business? There are a couple of ways to do it. Check what other people do what you do. See what the average price is, etc., etc. But then you've got to make a decision about what you think is the value of what you do, and you've got to stand by it. Through the winters, we increased my price in South Africa this year, I think by 25%. In a market where people are losing jobs and the economy is in technical recession, you're increasing price by 25%? Yeah. Is it negotiable? No. And we stand by it. And if a customer comes and says, we want you, but, and I go, I'm so sorry, how much did you want to pay? But they want to pay, will you do it? Stand by the integrity of your price, right? There's a video I did that went viral. When somebody walks into Lamborghini and says to Lamborghini, it's expensive. Lamborghini will tell them, how do you know? And they'll say, because Toyota is X price. They'll tell you, Lamborghini, go buy a Toyota. Okay. Did that land for you? My man. Great. Two more. There was one here at the front, and then we'll end with you, ma'am. This young lady. Great. We're ending with ladies. Fantastic. How are we doing, guys? We're good? Yeah. Great. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, guys. My name is Nosipo Mehana, and I'm also from Groups. For me, it's just advice that I need. I'm a fashion designer, aspiring actually. So I have a child, so I couldn't do fashion full-time, and it's not available in Cape Town part-time. So I decided to do retail, and during the time I was working in call centers. But what I do daily, I take 2 hours of my time to practice my skill. One of the things that I've made is this jacket that I have on today.
Very nice.
So,
Yeah. We see you. Yeah.
so my question is, a few years ago I was scared to like quit my job and do what I want to do. Like now that I'm older, and I know I can do this, and I know I can make my business stand. And there's also a niche that I'm targeting, which is church uniforms, which I think in Cape Town, I've never seen like a business that is doing that.
Very nice.
Exactly. So I'm thinking of going into that as my thing that I want to like make money from, and then study at the same time. But now I am a bit scared to just
Jump.
leave
Yeah.
my work, because I've got a 12-year-old that is going to high school in a few years.
Yeah.
So I just need advice exactly.
No, it's a great question.
What should I do in that case? I know what I want to do. However, how do I do it? And you also mentioned an app that is able to show you like business cards and what you'll need to do. Also, I need information on that, because my business needs like branding.
Great.
That's the most thing that I need.
Got you. So, first, thank you for being honest. Yeah, it's a very brave question to ask, which is I think I'm capable, but I'm scared. Let me just share with you from personal experience. The fear never goes away. You just learn to live with it. It's a bit like being a professional fighter. You know, I don't think professional fighters ever not get nervous before a fight. But there is a way you learn to use that energy for you, right? I don't want to give you advice, and I'll tell you why. Because I cannot in good conscience stand on the other side of the journey that life has for you. That's not my place. Here's what I can tell you for free. It's going to be much harder than you think. It's going to take much longer than you think. And you're going to suffer much more than you expect. But there will be nothing worth it more. So what you've got to decide for yourself is, do you want to be the person you want to be? Because you want to be it, but do you want to be that person? Right? There's a reason you go through. Life is fascinating. Life incubates you for the thing you're doing, right? So the suffering for me is just an incubation. Like if I remove the suffering from success, you lose character. That's why you suffer. It's because it's to give you depth and character, so that when you that's why older is wiser, because they look at stuff and they go, I've seen this before. There's a beautiful Swahili proverb. They say, what an old man can see seated under the shade of a tree, youth standing on top of the tree wouldn't see coming. And that's just about life and experience. So the journey you have to go through is life that's going to teach you, but it's going to give you depth and character. The question you have to answer for yourself is, do you want to be who you are, or do you want to be who you are becoming? Buzz. Last question. Yes, ma'am. Over there, last question. Yes, ma'am. It's the last one, so make it good.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nash, and I run a marketing agency. And since I'm the last person, there's 3 people that want me to ask their questions to.
Sorry, Rob.
My first question, which is my question, is you seem like an incredibly confident person, and you say this is how you've been all your life. I just want to know if you've ever experienced imposter syndrome in your career, and how you have overcome that.
What's imposter syndrome?
So it is feeling like you don't belong when you have started to succeed. So whether the first time you're in a boardroom full of white people and you were making decisions, feeling like, oh my word, they're gonna catch me out because I don't belong here.
Yeah.
So that's imposter syndrome. The second question is, you said something about apps, and I think you're alluding to the fact that it's not innovation. And the lady over here wants to know what your thoughts are on apps.
Okay.
And the final question is, my business partner wants to know, because he wants to sell our business, how do you grow a business to sell it?
Yeah.
What are the key considerations you should think about?
Thank you, Nash. Really great questions for us to end on. So I just want to think about, I love that imposter syndrome, by the way, really cool. And I'll maybe end on that. So it was the imposter syndrome, it was the apps thing, and then it was sell your business, right? Look, I don't have an issue with apps. I mean, we're invested in 1 or 2 businesses that use an app platform. I just think the app must be, I think an app must be material in the lives of people. And I think we're apping so many things now that we're apping things that don't need apping. So, so for me, for instance, it fascinates me that we have a country where 12% of the population goes to bed every night without a meal. But there are people designing apps on how to color your shoelaces. I'm just like, if you want to build a business that's going to make it, all businesses, guys, that make a difference and build scale, solve a human problem that's worth solving. Facebook solved the problem about connections. Instagram solves the problem about how do you PR yourself and tell your own story. Do you understand? So whatever the app it is that you're building, the app must solve a problem that's big enough and important enough for human beings to want to solve. Don't get caught in your own PR where you think it's a problem for you, so it's a problem for everybody. Does that make sense? Anyway, let me not make that point. So that was the first one. The second one, Nash, was about the imposter syndrome. Whew, it's a tough one, man. That's hard. Look, so first, confidence isn't given, right? It's taken. Nobody gives you confidence, you take it. And you take it by looking in the mirror and believing that you are what you believe you are. I think it was Drake that said, it's real when you are who you think you are. Bars. See, the hip hop guys are like, the older people are like, wie's Drake now? But you've got to look in the mirror and believe that you are. And I get caught with this all the time. I'll get caught looking at a value of a deal we're doing and I'm going, how did me? This? Really? Do you know what I mean? So the only way to quieten that voice of doubt is you've got to feed it with a voice of purpose. And so in your own life, you've got to have the things that remind you all the time about why you're here. Guys, why are you here? What's your purpose on this place called Earth? Mine's very simple. I've been consistent with it. Watch videos of mine from 15 years ago. It was the same thing. I want to be to the professional speaking business what Muhammad Ali was to boxing, the greatest of all time. That's it. Hasn't changed and it will not change. 15 years you meet me, that answer is going to be the same. And so wherever I go, even though there's voice of doubt, I know why I'm here. And I don't win all the time. I just have to make the point. I get my ass kicked all the time. All the time. First time I did an engagement to a group of executives in the US was a fuck up. Because their politics is different. You guys have gotten a sense of how I can straddle strategy from politics, like the human stuff and the scientific stuff. You can't do that in the US. Here I make a joke and I go, white guy, give him a voice, right? Can't do that in the US. It's not cool. Just don't do it. People cringe when you do that. I make a joke here about Trump. You do that in the US, that's a problem. Because the predominant people who are buyers happen to be Republican. Do you understand? So I had to learn how to straddle that space, and you get it wrong all the time, but you have to learn to forgive yourself and remind yourself, if you were not designed to be in this room, he wouldn't have told you to go there. Yeah. So go. And you're not walking in alone. You carry with you on your shoulders the spirit of the people who made it possible for you to be there. Absent of you, there's a voice, a view, a perspective, a story that's missing. That's why you're there. You're not there to fit in. At the last SAFCA conference, I caused some heat because I went and I said to all the venture capitalists, I said, so you guys really think all entrepreneurs live in Cape Town and walk in the same streets? Because all the VC firms are based here in Cape Town in exactly the same street. So what is the young lady who's, 21 years old living in Kuruman? Where does she raise VC funding? Do you understand? It's like, you got to get out, but that's my place. It's my truth, it's my voice, it's my story. It's what I'm there to represent. I can't be there, try to be them. I will lose that fight every day. The question about scale. Very simple. Build a matrix. Yes, Tabo, I saw you. Build your matrix. If you want to scale your business, build your matrix. Understand what the matrix are that the person who wants to buy your business is going to buy. Are they going to buy sales growth? Because if it is, that's what you got to figure out. Are they going to buy customer growth? Because if it is, that's what you got to figure out. Are they going to buy rate of innovation? Because if it is, that's what you got to figure out. Make sense? So you've got to figure out what is the matrix that your people who you want to sell your business to want to buy. What is the problem you're solving for the potential acquirer of your business? And that's what you build. Yeah? If you're creating I'll give you an example. If you're creating a fashion business, we had entrepreneurs we mentored, created a fashion business that does African print. When they joined our accelerator program, they had 1 store, now they have 7 stores. They had 5 employees, they've got 39 now, right? But for those guys, they're building their businesses to sell, and I sell to who? They said sell to one of the globals, because the local players are just going to try and replicate your model. So how do you build that business for sale? I said to them, very simple. Build a retail footprint so that you're everywhere and they can't get in without you. Build a customer relationship that's so deep and so loyal that even if they created something that looks like yours, they won't move. Makosa, David, whatever, right? Like if I see a Makosa thing done by Versace, I'm not going to buy it because there's equity there. Make sense? And then I said the third thing you got to do is build lasting, deep sales relationships with your clients so that you can sell to them in perpetuity. Build these things. Everything else is peripheral. A great balance sheet, good cash flow management, debt, equity, that's peripheral. Build a matrix that measure, that are important to the person you want to sell to. So when you want to sell your business, they'll look and go, aha, that's what you've done, now I'll buy. You created an app for florists. I want to buy an app for florists because I happen to be net florist. Get 100,000 florists on your network, then I'll buy it. Not do 100 million rand worth of transactions, get 100 florists on your network. Build the matrix that matter. Okay, to each and every single entrepreneur that comes to these masterclasses, that trusts us with their story, their opportunity, their struggles, we really appreciate it. We'll hope that you guys are learning about your business and about yourself as much as we're learning too. Cheers.